Welcome to Entrepreneur Talks podcast, hosted by Yola Bastos and created by Women Flix, which empowers financial freedom for women worldwide. Entrepreneur Talks is a podcast that covers conversations with startups, founders, innovators, and thought leaders from around the world who are disrupting the status quo, expanding their businesses, and bringing innovative ideas to life. Yola's conversational tone is focused on the top questions about journey and details, the ways of thinking and acting that have led these entrepreneurs to success. Entrepreneurship, leadership, mental health, funding, finances, and other issues are covered on our podcast. Subscribe now to our podcast by joining us on Spotify. You can write on your web right now www.anchor.fm/entrepreneur talks/subscribe. Join our podcast and enjoy this powerful conversation. Flix empowers financial freedom for women worldwide. There we go. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Entrepreneur Talk podcast. I'm so excited to have another guest on another week, and it's going to be an awesome conversation. For today, I have Belinda Ellsworth, and the title of my conversation is Trailblazing Your Way to Success. I hope you enjoy, and let me tell you as well, remind you that this is season 15, episode 2. But guess what? I made a decision, and it was just today, happened. We're going to move out from seasons, and we're going to carry on episodes. So for this season 15 will be our last season. You want, after 12 episodes on season 15, you won't be listening myself telling you again season 16 episode 1. It will be only episode ta with ta. So news are coming, and also another update is that we are moving our podcasts to Mondays. From next week, we will be live and recording our podcasts on Mondays. If you want to join me directly, live, straightforward, you will be able to join me on Mondays at the evening time. I'm not sure where you are, which country, which which city in the world, but definitely you can join me as you join me on Thursdays. So welcome. Let's bring my guest for today, Belinda Ellsworth. Here we go. Hello, Belinda.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Thank you so much as well, me. That is a pleasure to have you here. And I'm sure this conversation will be amazing. As always it is, but it's always different people. So I'm always excited to bring my guests and share the word through the world. Thank you. So Belinda, to start, can you tell us where are you talking from?
I live in a little town just north of Ann Arbor, Michigan.
America, right?
Yes, in the United
US.
States, yes.
Right, good. I mean, United Kingdom, London.
Okay.
So different countries, different sides of the world, but together. Great. And now, can you share with me or with us, how would you describe yourself in 3 words?
In 3 words, I would say, I'd like to say inspiring. I think I'm inspiring to most people. I think I'm
Inspiring.
energetic. I have a ton of energy
Get it?
and funny. I can be funny. So that's how
That's
other people describe me. I just recently had a whole bunch of people describe me, and those were some of the words that I got. But that's how I would, if I were to describe myself. I guess it's I'm very determined. I'm hardworking, and I do have a lot of energy. So I think sometimes I don't
mm,
stop and see those other things. So that's interesting.
wow, a lot of energy. So I've got, I have, instead of three, I have
There
six.
you
So
go.
it's a lot of things. Great. So let's start. I like to take this one of these descriptions, like the way you describe yourself, to start our conversation. And I'm gonna choose determined. Um, in what way do you say that? Oh, can you explain a little bit more about that? The way you describe yourself about determination. You are determined.
I have always been, it's one of the things I teach, but I think I'm able to teach it as well because I'm very dedicated to it. And that is setting goals. I have been a goal setter since I was very young. Like I remember probably as far back as the age of 10, and just always setting individual goals for myself and then achieving those and not giving up
That's
on
very
them. And
good.
I've continued that into my adulthood and then into my business and then into teaching that to others because sadly, people have just sort of gotten away from setting goals. When I first started speaking almost 30 years ago now, I would ask an audience, how many of you have goals written down where you can see them and are really going after something. And it used to be about 25% of the audience would raise their hand. And as the years progressed, I saw that decrease to 20 and then 15 and then now I saw this right before COVID. I saw like it was like 10% of my audience. And yes, in
Really?
studies now, I've read lots of articles on it that surveys and research shows that only about 8% of people are setting goals for themselves. So
Oh,
I did a lot of deep dive on that. And it's this, people are afraid of what other people think, or they don't want to put it out there, that I'm trying to achieve this because then I'll fail. What if I fail? Then people are going to judge. And, but they don't realize that they're missing out on, failure is just,
me.
it's just a benchmark, but when you set a goal, you're moving in a forward motion. You're moving toward something instead of standing still. And if you don't have a goal, you're basically just working your business on a random basis. And that's been one of my biggest quotes for many, many years is random acts get random results. So if you want to be successful, you need to set your goals. If you miss it, it's not a big deal. It's a benchmark. You readjust, you recalculate, much like a GPS. If you make a wrong turn, you don't give up. You just recalculate, you redirect, you keep moving in a forward motion. And that's what goal setting is. And if people could understand that and embrace that, they would see greater results just in everyday life in the littlest of things. Uh,
That's so that's so true because it's so important. And even if it's the daily goals, the monthly goals, no matter is important, it's crucial to do the goals. Achieve, find like have goals. I'm surprised that you brought that statistics, and they are so low because I'm also like you. I'm very in terms of goals. I know exactly every single day, every couple of time, like months and years and so on. I do need to create goals for
mhm,
myself. Otherwise, I'm gonna be like, what I'm doing here?
exactly.
Quite lost. Quite lost. I feel lost if I don't know what I'm doing. Even for tomorrow or today, I do. I'm looking to the side because I'm looking to my diary, which I plan, which I create my next day
Yes.
goals, which is important.
Mhm.
It is very important on the way. But thank you so much for sharing that about yourself and bringing that aspect that of your teaching, which is goals. What else do you talk with your students or your you coach, right? You
I
do
don't do
coaching.
coaching as much as, I mean, I guess it's a form of coaching. I just don't do one on one coaching. That's something
Right.
that I've never really wanted to do. I do that
Oh,
through,
there we go. It's a
yeah,
goal. You
I've
you
done that through community. So I like to
that's
teach.
good.
So I teach a lot of business strategies. I'm a strategist. I'm starting to add more of the sort of warm and fuzzy things on personal development, but I'm a, how to use your time effectively, creating systems for time management. I like teaching systems for, you know, uh, analytics and tracking your numbers, because that's another form of sort of goal setting and also being aware. I like to teach
Totally.
um, just sales strategies. That's one of the things that I sort of
Mm,
specialize into is sales. And we all need to learn sales skills, because ultimately you're selling yourself or selling something to someone in one way, shape, or form. So I think really good
right.
sales skills is important. And so those are some of the things that I teach. We have a new community of entrepreneurs, and it's myself and another gal who is a confidence coach. And so the two of us bring to that community sort of the business strategy side of things and the personal development side of things, and we complement each other very well.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Really good. Well done. And on the other side, coming back to the goals that you were mentioned, that is important, is crucial, in my opinion, and in your opinion, to have. There is the understanding of, because you just mentioned as well that you create the business or help people to create the business
Hmm.
strategy. Another point that is crucial to understand is the mission, which involves the goals and the vision of the company or the entrepreneur,
Yes.
right?
So
So you go.
I do break goals down into 3 steps, and that is, and this is the part that people miss. A lot of people just think, oh, I need to set this benchmark. The benchmark, which is the goal itself, is actually just the middle part. And the first thing you need is the vision, the purpose, the why. Why are you doing it? What's the overarching vision? Because then the goals are just benchmarks or stepping stones along the way to get you to the overarching, purpose. And if you don't have purpose, that is why people give up on their goals, because they're flat. Like, oh, I'm going to try to sell $10,000 this month. And if you don't do it, then you say, well, does it really matter? But if you were trying to sell $10,000 because you were trying to achieve X, or this would represent X, and then you would stick with it, you would be more inclined to say, well, I got close. This is good. I need to just keep going because I have the purpose and I have the vision, I have the mission. So that really is step one. Step two is then creating those benchmarks. And people should ask themselves every day, like, what have I done today to get me to my goal? Which takes us to part three. And that is, you have to have a plan of action. Some people set a goal and then they just hope. They hope at the end of the month their sales are going to come out. They hope at the end of the month they're going to have more customers. And it's like, no, what's your plan of action? So for me in teaching goal setting, it is a 3-part step. And that those 3 parts are a lot. I mean, like teaching people about vision casting and creating a mission statement and knowing your purpose and fulfilling your purpose with passion. It's like that's all one whole big entity by itself, which is just one part of goal setting. And then understanding those measurable benchmarks. I don't think a lot of people fully grasp what are good benchmarks to set. Like, how do I break this down
Right.
individually? And I like to try to help people do that. Um,
It's really important.
yes, it really, really, truly is. And then the third, of course, is okay, so what are the small things I'm going to do today to get me to the overarching, to the goal, which is going to get me to my vision? And when people really operate from that perspective or mode, they will make things happen. Like, you will get things done, things will move, and it will be exciting. Um, I've not
Yes.
ever had anybody not do that and fail, honestly. So I think it's super important.
Thank you so much for sharing. And coming back to your community with the other girl, how long are you been doing
Well,
this
this is
community?
exciting. So I've been successful as a speaker and trainer for 30 years. And after
Oh,
COVID, that changed dramatically. And I knew that I needed to move in a different direction, and I really couldn't figure out how or what I was going to do. And that's the one thing I really share with people too, in creating that vision is you've got to make a decision. Like the reason that most people waffle, or just are lost in life is because or have anxiety. So it really creates both, is they just don't make decisions. So anytime I catch myself just feeling this lost or feeling anxiety or feeling frustrated, it's like, all right, I need to make a decision. I need to sit down and get clear and concise. And so in September, in the fall, I said, all right, my podcast is successful, but I need to monetize my podcast because I hadn't really, I hadn't done anything with it in that regard. And so we decided to create. I always had wanted to do a subscription box. Like I've wanted to do one for like 5 years. I just think they're so fun. But I wanted it to be more than just a box of stuff. You know what I mean? I wanted it to have a significant meaning and impact, and I still wanted to be able to teach people. And so we created this community, My Happy Place, working from My Happy Place, which goes along with our podcast. And so you get a subscription box every quarter, but you have access to the community every month. And it just actually, we just opened the doors this Monday. So this, and we're
Wow.
so excited. We started out with almost 200 people in our community straight out of the gate. And that's super exciting. And of course I had a low goal, a middle goal, and a big goal, just to share that with everybody. And that was 100, 200, and 300. I thought if we can launch this with 300, I'll be thrilled out of my brains. As long as we can hit 100, I will feel like I had a success. And I think right now we're closing the doors for the founding members, which will be locked into that price no matter what happens in the years to come. They'll be locked to that forever. And so we're at like, we're crossed over 150 now. And so I'm like, I think we'll get to 200, which will be right smack in the middle. And I think that's important for people to set those 3 goals, because then you're not super disappointed. You're like on track. You can see I hit my minimum of where I need to be no matter what. And so
Yes.
I've always set 3 goals whenever I have one. And I have found that you will land probably somewhere in the middle. And if you blow it out of the park, well, then that's awesome. But if you don't, it's okay too. So our first box is going out June 1st, and then it just goes from there. So we're really excited, people. We did an orientation last night. People are fired up, and we've got lots.
That's so good news. I'm so pleased. I'm part of that week. Yes, you are my guest on this. It is amazing. I love this part of I love your story, but I love this part because you created a goal to open like the Spotify, the podcast, and then subscribe. That I understood exactly what you're talking about this subscription. And I sometimes when I look into my podcast, I remember that thing that I could put subscribe. It's just, but I don't want to exactly like you, and I love it. I love that you had a strategy. You find a strategy to make people to adhere to subscribe to your podcast and have access to the community. Is that correct, or the other way?
So it kind of all goes hand in hand. So they're really cross-referencing each other on a constant basis, which is really kind of fun. So it's entrepreneurs who are wanting to either start their business or they're wanting to scale their business. And that's who we're working with. Being self-employed is hard. It can be lonely. And so, and you don't know what you don't know, and you have to wear, 20 different hats. And so sometimes that can be challenging. And just having someone else be able to say, hey, have you been faced with this? Or to be able to ask a community of other business owners, what did you do when you came to this? Everything from systems to bookkeeping to analytics to manufacturing. We're kind of to list building to digital marketing courses. We're kind of covering it all. So,
congratulations. I'm so happy for you. Oh, this is beautiful. And regarding your like building up this community, in terms of finances and time wise and goals, like you said, I love the fact that you mentioned that you created, every time you create a goal, you have three
Yes.
options. Can you, instead of going to the first, the top, the start of my question, can we go into this? How do you do that? How do you manage
How
that?
do I set those goals?
Yes, because you have a main goal,
Yes.
right? And then you break down. Is that correct?
So the first thing that I do, and this is what I encourage everybody to do, is, dream big. Like dream big. Like when you think about the like, oh, if this were to just, what would be, but realistic at the same time. So sure, I'd love to have 1,000 members, but to launch with that, is that realistic? No. So I did do some research, and I just, the classes that I've been taking, it's a lot of people that are like, oh, I launched with 62, or I launched with, I wanted to get to 100. It took me 3 months. So I've been doing a lot of research
Right.
on people that have had some success with that subscription box. And so then I decided that 100 seemed to be the low end goal for like a lot of people. And then I felt like, well, I've been doing this for a while. I've got like a lot of followers, and so we should actually be able to get like 300 like pretty easily. And I was kind of like, in 3 to 400 was like my, like, okay, like if I'm dreaming to start this thing out, where would I like to be? And for me it was between 3 and 400, but that would be the best, right? Like there's this old training that used to be done on 360, like when you hit that, it takes on exponential growth. So I was like, okay, I would like to be I want to hit that mark sooner than later. But that was like my
Right.
highest goal. So it was with a little bit of research, kind of determining what's average, what could be normal, and then dreaming big. And then I always go, the littlest one is like, what do I really need to hit financially? Where do I want to be? And to make this, for some people, if they're trying to set that low end goal, it's the break even. Like, what would my break even be? That's not my break even, trust me. But that's how I've done it before, though. Okay, if I were to break even on this, or at least cover my expenses on this, what's my lowest goal then? So that's always been sort of a way that I've done it in the past. And then I go, gosh, if I could dream big, what would be awesome? Like, what would just be amazing? And then I sort of pick somewhere in between that. And I have to tell you that 9 times out of 10, I will land almost in that middle one. And the reason I think that's important, Yola, is because sometimes people set really low goals for themselves, and then that's all they strive for. So when I do this three-prong approach, I'm always striving big, right? I'm striving big, but I'm not disappointed when I don't hit it. But it keeps me moving toward, instead of settling or saying, okay, well, we've hit our goal, so we're good now. I had somebody say that to me. So 2 weeks ago, I want to say, or a week ago, we hit 100. And somebody said, oh, well, you've hit your goal. You can relax now. I'm like, oh my gosh, no. Like, are you kidding? And so by having those tiers, it always keeps you pushing, but yet not to sort of deflate your bubble and feel discipline.
Yes,
Yeah.
totally. And I do believe that what you just said is to apply in everything we do.
Yeah.
Every goal, the minimum one, no matter what is, like if I want everything, we think we need to think, okay, I reach my goal, or I reach off of my goal, but what is next? Instead of just relaxing.
Yeah.
Because when you're relaxing, you're losing. You lose because you know, when we are on this stage to build something, to create something, we never are able to relax as we are reach the top of the top, when we want, okay, this is enough for me. Because you did said that you managed to create that goal and achieve the half, or research and do, if 100 is the minimum, okay, let's go for this. But if you reach 100, you're gonna want more hundreds,
Right.
right? I'm not gonna we're not gonna stay there. But this is amazing.
Well, and I have
Yes.
my my goals set for each quarter now. So like now, and I've had to reassess those because we didn't start. I thought we were starting in March. So now I've had to push my goals back of where I wanted to be by a certain date. But like now I've got, okay, here's where we want to be by July, here's where we want to be by October, and here's where I want to be in the end of December, so January 1. And so I have reassessed those based on basically our start date and where we are right now. And so now I have the same thing for each of those quarters coming up, and I know that's going to keep us moving. It's funny about the sort of relax, and that's just a word, and some people would say, oh, because there's so much negativity about the hustle mentality, and it isn't. You know, you can relax within your days and you can relax and enjoy your life, but it's like if you're not moving forward, think of it this way. It's like treading water. So if you were out in the ocean and you are in a lake or whatever, and you had to tread water, you can do that for a period of time, but you can't do that forever. You will eventually lose your energy and you will eventually sink, or you're going to, fall down. And so when people are just treading life, they're eventually going to go backward, because you have to constantly always be looking toward the next thing. It's that vision. And that's what creates the energy, the hope, the passion, the movement. And it
Yeah.
doesn't mean that you can't, relax along the way. It just means I'm being super mindful of where do I want to go next? What's on
Yeah.
the horizon for me? Because if we're moving and swimming toward that horizon, we're not just treading water, because you will exhaust yourself, and
Yeah.
you're either growing or you're going back. You're either moving forward or going back, and you can tread that little space for a little while, but not for very long. And that was one of the things I realized. I So COVID happened. I lost an entire year worth of bookings. I was booked about 6 times a month for the entire year in live speaking engagements, and within 5 days, 10 days, they were gone.
You lost
Every
everything.
one of them. And so I had a pity party for a couple of days, and then I said, okay, what are you going to do about it? And I moved into survival mode. And what I realized for myself, and I would really encourage anybody out there that might be sitting in the same spot, and I certainly do know a ton of them that are, is I stayed in survival mode. And so I was still in survival mode and waiting for things to return to the way that they were before. And what I realized last fall is that I was exhausted. It was like treading water being in survival mode. You can only live in survival mode for so long. You've got to move into thrive mode. So I was like, I need to start thriving again instead of surviving. I don't want to, yeah, I needed to survive that incident, but now I'm still living there 3 years later. That's not serving me well. And so that's when I made some clear cut decisions about what do I want to do to thrive again. And and it's happening and it's exciting. And
Yeah, amazing. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Belinda, for bringing back the relaxing. Because when I mentioned relax, I was mentioned the way you explain, which is really good. Because that is not about, when I mention like relax just for relax. It is, you can relax on the way, but you need to
yep,
be focused. Focus on your
I
goal.
knew that's what
Focus.
you meant, but I do know that there's a ton of listeners out
Yes,
there
it is.
that might not
Yes,
fully grasp
correct.
that. I got what you were putting out there, but I also know that
I'm glad.
there's
Yeah, I'm glad you did that, because I said yes, I should be talking like this instead of just, because the word relax for so many people might be in a different way. They will understand us in a different way. But I was exactly on the same level like you. But I'm glad that you brought that back, and it is really powerful, because on the end of the day, if we're not doing the things like the it's not doing, it's like if we don't do the, like if we don't focus on our goal, we lose
yes.
control. And it totally, you lose control and you're not able to carry on. It's like, as you mentioned as well, in terms of the COVID, I passed through that season. I think everyone went to the surviving mode.
Hmm.
I do believe, unless, because no one knew how long it's going to last, but I came to a point that I said, whoa, it's time to move. And I'm so grateful because I know I personally lost first people in my
Mhm.
family, my friends. I lost lot of things came into our
Mhm.
lives different. Nowadays we are different people from because of the COVID. But at the same time, when I look back, there's many things that I could achieve because I was indoors and I decide to focus on my goals and create ways. I'm so blessed. I'm so grateful because there was a time to survive
Mhm.
mood, but then you need to wake up and say, okay, let's do something. Let's learn about something. Let's create something. And that's why my podcast born as well, because with COVID, I said, I'm going to talk with people. I'm going to be inspire others. That's why I created it. And it was during COVID.
Yeah, I interview a lot of artists on my show as well. So we do entrepreneurs on Tuesdays and we do artists on our Mondays and we do artists on Thursdays. And it was interesting because so many of them that acted or did Broadway specifically had to learn new skills during COVID to survive. And many of them, that's added a whole new stream of income. And they're doing voiceover work, they're doing all kinds of different things that they never even considered for themselves before. And they found a whole new world of, extra streams of income, of, working between gigs, which was before, you just sort of survived between big opportunities. And people's lives are different. And so it really pushed us to, we were forced out of our comfort zone. That's what happened.
That's
Just
right.
plain and
Yeah,
simple, we were forced out of our comfort zone. And
that's so. Yes, I agree. I
yeah.
agree. Really good. Now, Belinda, can you share one of your advice or another one, because you did share a lot of things, good tips here, for aspiring entrepreneurs who are looking to start their own business? This is for startups.
Yes. So, gosh, there's so much here to unpack, but first and foremost is to start. Like, one of the things, everybody's got their own sort of, there's like 5 or 6 different things that people do on a regular basis for self-sabotage. And one of those things is perfectionism. And that's where I fall into that category. And one of the things I have learned over the years is just start. And anybody will tell you that. Like, if you've got an idea, start researching it, start putting it out there. I would also say that the thing that people they carry with them is this all or nothing mentality. Like, oh, I have to quit my job in order to go do this. No, you can start your idea, and it can even be on a small scale just to test the waters while you're working at this full-time job. Start to set aside time. Say, okay, like even when I started my speaking business, I was working at a corporate job as a trainer, and I said, okay, I'm going to work at this job for one more year, even though I'm not happy and I don't like it. I'm going to stay here for a year, and this is how much money I'm going to save. I'm going to live on the bare minimum and put as much money away as I can for one solid year so that when I launch this business, I've got a little bit to fall back on. And so I would encourage people to do that. Is don't look at it as an all or nothing mentality. Like, I have to give up this in order to do this. I have to make this before I get started. And then the other one is people, you got to be willing to take a risk. And so ask yourself, what is the worst thing that could happen to me? And if you can live with that, like for me, when I started my speaking business, I'm like, what if I fail as a speaker? I had been encouraged from a lot of people to be a motivational speaker. And so I thought, okay, then I thought, what if I fail? Well, I'm really good at sales. I've been in sales for 16 years. So you know what? If I don't make it, I'll go get another sales job and I can earn a really good living with a sales job. And
There
so
is always the option.
that was the worst thing. So then what's the best thing is I could have a whole different life. I could have a life I love. So is it worth risking? Is the worst thing that can happen to you worth having the best thing that can happen to you? And if you can answer that with an honest yes, then I say just start moving toward that. But don't wait for everything to be perfect before you start, and don't carry an all or nothing mentality. And then get
Really
yourself
good.
a plan.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Thank you so much, Belinda. Thank you for sharing that. Very important. And on the other, just to add a little bit more into this, no believe. If anyone fails, if you fail on the way, don't give up, because the failure, like you mentioned at the beginning, is something that makes us to
Yes.
learn, to grow, to improve. So next time I'm going to do better, because as you choose to go into the motivational speaker, you definitely, for sure, you probably failed some ways, like you did it the voice, like myself just now, I couldn't talk,
Right.
but there is improvement towards
Oh
after that.
gosh, and you should be trying to improve all along the way. Um, I like to share this story. It was I think it was the third speech that I gave, and there was about 500 people there. It was a big audience, and people were
Wow.
super excited, and I got a standing ovation, and it was like, wow, like this is just my third big, speaking engagement, and I was like kind of feeling like I've made it. And I remember I was leaving there, going straight to the airport and flying home, and I was at the hotel front desk checking out, and this woman who had been in the seminar came up to me, and she said, "You had great information, but oh, your voice is so shrill. It was making my hearing aids go off." And so I was like, I remember standing there thinking to myself in that moment, I smiled and I said, "Oh, I'm so sorry." But I remember thinking for a brief moment, like, that's all you got out of that 3-hour speech, really? But then I got on the airplane and I said, okay, where's the grain of truth in that? And I came home and I worked with a voice coach on getting my voice more from my chest instead of from my throat. And that improved
Wow.
my speaking for years, like that. So you should always be mastering your craft. That's another thing that I teach,
Yeah.
is you always want to be striving to be better. But you don't have to be
Yeah.
the best before you get started.
And on the way, don't take
Right.
personally, right? It's important.
Like I could have did two things. I could have taken that so personally and been afraid to get back on the stage again, or I could have
Yeah.
dismissed it and said, "What a cranky old woman," and just said, like, "Wow, what's her problem?" But I didn't. I said, "Okay, I'm not going to let this affect me." I
Improve.
still got a standing ovation. People were still pleased with the information, but there's a grain of truth in here. So
Yeah.
like own the grain of truth and just move forward.
Accept and move forward and use for improvement, right?
Yes.
Really good. Really good. Really good. Thank you so much, Linda, for sharing that as well. So now to finalize our conversation, we have to go on. I would love to stay, but there we go. We have to do another things, another goals on our day. I don't know what time is in your way, but I believe it's morning, right?
It is 1 o'clock here in the afternoon.
Ah, okay. Aquí is almost evening. But can you share with us how people can connect with you, or if you have any freebies to give away towards my audience, anything that you think is good to share with them regarding contact you?
Sure. Well, they can find me at Work From Your Happy Place. So, Work From Your Happy Place is the name of the podcast. Work From Your Happy Place is our website. And at the website, if they go there, we have a free gift. And I'll get you a link, maybe with a special link so people can get directly there. But I have an audio training called The 5 Core Principles of Leading a Happier Life. And it's about an hour plus long. So I think people will enjoy that. And that's a free gift for your audience. And I'll get a link for you for that in the show notes. And
Fantastic.
but they can also go to our website and it's on there too for to grab that free gift. And then
Social media.
social media is LinkedIn is Belinda Ellsworth, and then Instagram and Facebook is Work from Your Happy Place. So, and our brand new community, the information on that is on our website as well. But it's Working from My Happy Place. And we would love to have
Love.
some of your listeners that are in the United States or Canada. So right now, those are the two countries that we are serving is the United States and Canada can join that community.
Okay, that's a good point because I thought like we can connect worldwide, but this is good to know for now. But the aim is to reach the world,
Well,
right?
they can be in the community. There just won't be the subscription boxes. We're only shipping right now to the United States and Canada. So, if
Okay.
somebody from another country wanted to be just in the community to learn and grow, I would probably discuss that with them and maybe that's pushing me today to create different pricing for people outside of the country. There you go.
Love it, love it. You see, that's why. So just to remind everyone and to let you know as well, apart from the link that you mentioned about the freebie, all the links about yourself, social media, website is under the description of this podcast session. So anyone that is right now here can just click below and find information and get in touch or find the community of Belinda and join the community. But remember, if you are abroad, US or Canada, you need to talk in private with you, right,
Well,
Belinda?
they can follow us, watch, listen to the podcast, no matter where they are in the world, and they can go to our. So the subscription box is literally a physical box of wonderful, yummy stuff that you get every
Oh,
quarter.
bless.
So we
Oh,
can't ship right now to other places in the country, but everything else they can 100% participate with us.
oh, that's so cute. Can I see the box
Yes.
again? Oh,
So that is the box.
oh, happy place are working.
Oh,
Oh,
I
that's
love it
so
so much. And then we've
beautiful.
got this is our welcome box, and it's just got all kinds of really fun things for working, like from home or from your happy place. It's got teas, it's got
Oh,
coffees,
that's
it's
so
got
cute.
office supplies, it's got home decor, it's got
Oh,
personal care products. It's just got a lot of really wonderful, yummy stuff to help you.
yummy stuff to have around your
Yes.
workplace. Oh, that's wonderful. Oh, that's so cute. Okay, I wish I'm in Canada or
I
US
know.
now. More than ever.
You know what?
But
The so currently, well, we have planners that we sell, and they that'll be coming out in September again for the new year. But we do have facilities in Australia, Canada, and in the UK that do shipping for us. So maybe eventually I can work with some of those different groups to add our subscription box to it.
yes, and then let me know, Belinda, so I will be happy to join and receive that box. Oh,
Okay.
so cute. This is the beginning, and remember, these moments must be overwhelming. Like in 2 years' time, you say, "Oh, remember the first 100 bucks I've sent," and that's amazing.
Thank you so
So
much. Do you know what? It is exhilarating and overwhelming at the exact same time. And I would just, and so because I've been down this road before, I recognize that. But to anybody out there that is new and starting, you're always going to have both emotions running through you. And one day you'll wake up and you're so excited and exhilarated, and you just can barely sleep at night. And the next day you wake up and you're so overwhelmed with all of the details that you feel like, I don't know if I can do this. And I just want to really encourage everybody that you can do hard things. And you just remember, on the day you're feeling overwhelmed, the day of exhilaration is coming tomorrow or the next day. So hang on. Find something to hang on to.
thank you so much, Belinda. So I might say goodbye
Oh, thank
now,
you
and thank
so
you for
much.
the amazing conversation. And I'm so grateful. God bless you, and all the best. And remember, let us know in UK when it's ready to ship, ship to
You will be
us.
the first
So
I let know.
thank you
All
so
right.
much. You take care
Bye.
now. Bye-bye. Bye. That's amazing. What an amazing conversation. I just love the fact that I'm able to do this. And I'm so grateful for Belinda and for the tips and advice that she brought to us. And I hope you enjoyed as well. So come back next week with another guest and with another story and more to improve and to discover and to find out what is and to inspire. Take care. Have a lovely week. Oh, enjoy the rest of the week. And I see you next time. Bye bye.